With the establishment of Rwanda's world-class business environment, the country is emerging as a top new sourcing destination for global business services. With the GBS sector, Rwanda offers a range of services across business process and IT outsourcing. My name is Mulungi Sarah and welcome to Doing Business in Rwanda. In this episode, we explore the world of global business services and Rwanda's unique positioning to capitalize on the nation's emerging workforce and talent. Rwanda is already home to an emerging GBS sector of 15-plus leading companies providing a range of outsourced BPO and ITO services to global clients and plans to create 5,000-plus seats by 2025.
The Rwanda Global Business Services sector really took off about a couple of years ago, and it's been a group effort between the Rwandan government, primarily with the Rwanda Development Board and the Ministry of ICT and Innovation, along with key partners on the ground, such as Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator, who I work with, and GIZ, so the development agency of the German government. And we've been partnering with different private sector companies here in Rwanda to ensure that we can bring more dignified jobs for young people to the country and really grow the sector here.
Tech experts came to Rwanda we started before the pandemic, then had to take a bit of a pause, and we actually went live on the 6th of September in 2021. It was about 50 people and doing a couple of lines of business for our global clients. So we provide global technical support for companies, and we wanted to start doing that out of Rwanda. So GBS is almost like joining the army. Where do you want to go next? So we've got a group in here training now to be our next team leaders. We've got another group that we're training to be our next trainers. So we take that raw talent and say, right, where do you want to go with it? What do you want to do?
The global business services ecosystem isn't one where operators work in silos, but rather one where collaborative efforts across the ecosystem are encouraged.
A lot of it is making sure that what we offer, what Rwanda offers, is successful. So not just at an individual level, so we want those people to be successful. We don't make anything. So you don't make this bottle or this tin can and that's how good it is. Our only success comes from people being in a good place and being successful at what they do. So to do that, it takes bringing people together. So there are some skills we need to bridge. So when you've got your degree, I know all the ones and zeros, but I'm probably not used to speaking to somebody in a different country, using empathy as a skill, active listening. How do I use research to find out the answer to the query? So I guess we join those dots to be able to make that happen. And we utilize people who are very skillful, like Harambee, who do a lot of the language proficiency training, a lot of the communication skills, to be able to add to what we do when people join the company.
Definitely it is, and this is actually why we are here on the ground. You have to be on the ground in order to kind of like explore that talent, and then it is relatively easy. So when you partner with local players who are in that field already, so they help you to maneuver and they help you to find that talent. On the other hand side, it needs to kind of like when you really look for talents, you can recruit right away for your company and for your business. Then of course you have to kind of like look. So what talent is there? What's the level of expertise already? Where are probably knowledge gaps to fill? And this is something. So okay, if you're aware about this, you have to take some actions. But other than that. So it's all about like being on site. It's not just a fly in, fly out thing. So me as a German, having like this German-based company. So I immediately, when I have founded the company in Germany, I moved here because it's super important to be on the ground.
There's nothing special about Harambee's talent pool because we support any young person in Rwanda. They can be from 18 to 35 years old and we'll support them. But we do assess them on English specifically for the global business services market. So we as Harambee are less concerned about what degree did you get or what grade point average do you have. It's more about, do you have the skills that are required for work? And for GBS and global business services, what is required is fluency in either English or French or sometimes both.
Rwanda works. Rwanda has set the foundation to allow for a smooth transition into the GBS ecosystem with the necessary infrastructure, tech, and utilities needed by GBS service providers. It doesn't just stop there though, there's more.
But what Rwanda provides is a real I guess, boutique, highly trained level of youth able to come and move into our market. So we need people with good degree ability, and we need people with good communications and English ability. So the move to English, probably about 2008, 2009, means the guys have all studied well, studied in English, and we work to just make sure that that's conversationally correct and the guys can communicate well with our global audience. So the Rwanda team work across America, work across EMEA, and work across Asia as well, providing this global business service, this technical support. So from the point of view of Rwanda and what it means there is it's a case study, if you like. It proves that when someone like us comes here, there was very few other players, and says, actually, this can work, then it starts to be able to set the scene for how you grow this industry. And what it provides for me, I'm not technical, so I don't know all of the ones and zeros. The bit that gets me out of bed is joining the dots of, we have clients globally who need skill, and we've all seen the Great Resignation. Well, Rwanda has the great application. You give me the demand, I can find the people for you.
Rwanda has a really strong value proposition, everything from the ease of doing business. So it's the second easiest country to do business in Africa, 38th in the world. It has a strong support from government for the sector in terms of incentives for the private sector. And it also has a really strong and growing talent pool. So 50,000 young people graduate from university schools every single year, and they're ready to take on jobs ranging from software development to traditional customer support. They're bilingual, so they speak French and English. And it's a lovely place to come and do business.
I'm still flashed about like how highly motivated the talent is here. So they are always kind of like eager to walk the extra mile, yeah. And this is like something which is a real value proposition, and our clients are also reflecting this. So because and this is not just a European problem or perspective. It's also here kind of like regional or even continent-wide perception that whenever like somebody is hiring somebody, they are looking for seniors, right? So can you kind of like offer me, I don't know, 5-6 years of experience? So does the European client market. And I always explain, or we explain, okay, so if you're looking for somebody with production experience 5 years, you're not at the right spot. But let us kind of like introduce the talents, the 3-4, maybe nearly or close to 5 years experience. And if a client is curious enough to talk to them, so they are kind of blown away.
Despite all the glowing reviews on Rwanda's business environment, the issue of whether there are enough internet adoption levels in the country to allow for efficient GBS operations still stands. In terms of internet connectivity, is Rwanda really ready for this move?
There are definitely in East Africa areas where the connectivity is not good at all. Now I'm sitting here in Rwanda, when I'm talking to clients from Germany, and they sometimes, because they have no knowledge about the continent in general, and Rwanda in specific, they raise the question, you're working in tech there, you're working with software developers, is there even internet there? And I'm always kind of like underline, the internet is even better than in Hamburg, where we have our internet, our office registered. So this is probably amongst other stereotypes which are still out there. Now looking at it from a European perspective.
It used to be like bundles. We used to work on bundles, so that is very hard because the bundle internet was not very fast. But now with like Canal Box and Liquid Telecom, so things have gotten much faster, so the internet is much better. But some places it's not really there yet. There are some sections where they haven't installed it yet. So those developers, I know some of them that are still using bundles and still a bit of an issue. But overall, it's a great improvement from the way it was.
There are different sides to impact sourcing. In Rwanda's context, a balance between the cons and pros has been struck, leaving a rather charming amalgamation of the two worlds.
The idea is that by hiring a young person in Rwanda, you're making an outsized impact, not just for that one person and their job, but to an entire family, an entire community, and really an entire nation. So coming and bringing your business to Rwanda has an outsized impact than it would if you, say, stayed in the United States or stayed in the UK.
There are some challenges. So one which comes to mind right away is a lot of the times there's like a time difference. So you're working for like a client in the US, So there's like a large time difference there. So sometimes I know some developers who are like night where they work at night, but then they sleep in the day.
Being paid less happens, but there are ways into which you set boundaries or you have contracts or negotiations to be paid what you're worth. But on my behalf, I've lived in the countryside and I've lived also in Kigali. And I would say that the internet is fair in the countryside, and while most of the internet providers haven't reached far beyond, but here in Kigali we have good connectivity, I would say.
Rwanda is constantly innovating around the ways of solving her problems. With a rapidly growing young and educated workforce, instead of wallowing in the fear of unemployment, Rwanda has opened up avenues for employment far beyond the borders. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Doing Business in Rwanda. Let's keep the conversation going. To engage with us, you can tag us on our Twitter handle at CNBC Africa or tag me directly at bmurungi Sarah.